It may not look like much at first, but in my opinion, this is the greatest single photograph ever taken in all of human history. Lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam.
My God, I got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps.
This is Earth. You live here on this planet somewhere, and everything that you've ever known is located right here. But just how small exactly is Earth when compared to the scale of the entire universe? Let's start by zooming out to where we can see our nearest cosmic neighbor, the Moon. You may think that the Moon is very close to Earth since it dominates our night skies, but in reality the Moon isn't this close to our planet, it's actually about this far away. 384,400 kilometers away from you right now on average. You could fit 30 entire Earths in between this distance, and if you somehow were able to drive a car at a constant 100 kilometers per hour speed, it would take you about 160 days to drive the entire distance. Despite
You don't think of it that way, right? Usually, you don't think of it that way. Alright.
this incredible distance, however, 12 humans have actually set foot here, representing the furthest away that any individual human has ever been away from the Earth, and one of humanity's greatest achievements. This is what the Earth would look like from there if you were standing there with them, and if you wanted to communicate with somebody back at home, it would take a message about 2.5 seconds to travel between you and them, since that's how fast the speed of light can travel at. This is a photo that was taken on Mars, and that tiny dot that you see there is Earth as seen from the Martian surface. On average, Mars is an incredible 225 million kilometers away from Earth, but that distance can be as high as 401 million kilometers. That means that whenever humanity finally gets around to landing a human on the planet, that person will be 986 times further away from Earth than the astronauts who landed on the Moon were. In addition, the time delay for sending a message from Mars back to Earth isn't just 2.5 seconds, it's actually more like 20 minutes each direction, which would render instant
Which would mean that if you send a message from here to Mars or Mars to here, it would reach 20 minutes later. That's quite significant.
Communication in the event of an emergency impossible. When we zoom out even further away, we can find the Voyager 1 space probe, which is the furthest away man-made object from Earth. It is currently an astronomical unit, which is the distance between the Earth and the Sun.
Alright. The distance between Earth and the Sun, right. Okay.
Which means that Voyager 1 is 138 times further away from us than the Sun is.
Wow.
At some point on its long voyage, Voyager 1 turned its camera around and took this photograph. It may not look like much at first, but in my opinion, this is the greatest single photograph ever taken in all of human history. This tiny, pale blue dot is Earth.
My God, I got goosebumps. I just got goosebumps. Alright.
And I don't think that anybody has ever said something as amazing about this as Carl Sagan when he said, "If you look at it, you see a dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever lived out their lives. The aggregate of all our joys and sufferings, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines. Every hunter and every forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilizations, every king and every peasant, every young couple in love, every hopeful child, every mother and every father, every inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar."
It's poetic, isn't it? Wow, it's poetic.
Every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Voyager 1 is currently traveling at 17 kilometers every single second, but even at that speed, it won't break out of the reach of our solar system for another 30...
Wait. I missed it. Sorry, I'll probably have to do that a little bit.
currently traveling at 17 kilometers every single second, but even
Okay.
at that speed, it won't break out of the reach of our solar system for another 30,000 years. Once we
Jeez.
go
For 30,000 years, it wouldn't even go beyond our solar system. Wow. Wow. So the problem that we're solving is we'll never have the answers to those problems, at least our generation or the next, or the next. We're solving a problem for the future generations, though.
beyond the solar system, we arrive in our interstellar neighborhood. Here we shift to the light-year unit of measurement, which is the distance that light travels in a full Earth year, or about 9.461 trillion kilometers. The star Proxima Centauri here is the closest other star to us other than our Sun, but it's still 4.24 light-years away from us. To put that into perspective, if it was heading in the right direction, it would still take Voyager 1 over 70,000 years to reach it. In other words, if you drove your car at 100 kilometers an hour like in our previous example to the moon, it would take over 6 times longer than the entire age of the universe is just to finally get there, and it wouldn't even exist still when you arrived. When we zoom out even further, we can see the entire Milky Way galaxy, inside of which Earth is located right here.
Wait, what? That's Milky Way? I shouldn't be surprised because I've seen all of this, at least the photos and the pictures during our school days. I'm not sure if it's a recent one, but all right, okay. Imagine how small the solar system is in comparison to the entire galaxy, our galaxy, Milky Way. In Hindi, it's called Akash Ganga. I remember that from my school days. All right, let's continue.
This yellow dot is the furthest extent of humanity's radio broadcasts throughout history, which means that any possible aliens who live outside of this range are totally unaware of humanity.
Wait, so does it say that's the yellow dot is the capability of radio broadcasting, or is it the Milky Way? Probably the yellow dot, right? So that means because radio signals is the only thing that human beings can send the farthest. There is no way for any aliens to know about our existence because they would have not experienced anything that is produced by humans otherwise. Yeah. Very interesting. All right, let's get on with it. I'm already very excited.
It's complete silence outside of this yellow dot as far as we are currently aware, but the entire galaxy spans over 100,000 light-years from end to end. There are over 100 billion stars and over 100 billion planets inside of our galaxy.
100 billion stars and 100 billion planets inside our galaxy. 1 billion.
Galaxy. But you have never seen the full glory of the galaxy at night, because 99% of the stars that you can see with the naked eye are limited to this small, tiny region right here. But even this massive galaxy is nothing compared to the rest of what's out there. Zooming out even further and we arrive at the local group of galaxies, a collection of 54 different galaxies that is about 10 million light-years across. But zooming out even further and we can see the Virgo supercluster, of which the local group here is just a tiny segment of. There are at least 100 other groups of galaxies just like our own local group inside of here, and the distance from one side to the other is a mind-numbing 110 million light-years. But even the massive Virgo supercluster is nothing but a quiet and tiny lobe of the Great Laniakea supercluster, an enormous structure that is home.
How did we know about this? Because the Voyager 1, or how did we know about this? I'm super curious about how we got to know about this.
Home to our galaxy as well as 100,000 other galaxies. The distance from one side to the other is 520 million light-years, but from even there we can zoom out all the way to the entire observable universe and see that even the titanic Laniakea supercluster is just a tiny and insignificant part of everything.
So I'm smiling for a reason, and that's because back in the day when we had in India, we only had the national television or the national channel, and there was no other. Cable TV was not present then. And every now and then, our signal would go off, and this is what we'd see on the screen. And us kids, me and my sister, we would talk about, what do you think this represents for you? And sometimes we'd say like weird things like, would it be space? Could this be planets inside space and whatnot? It's odd how it's come back. That's how it looks like. I mean, it's like it doesn't look like anything, but when you go inside deeper and deeper, you notice all that's happening within this.
This is the observable universe, and it contains everything that we know of. It is home to at least 2 trillion different and individual galaxies, which
2 trillion galaxies. 2 trillion galaxies. That means 2 trillion Milky Ways. And Milky Way, the size of the galaxy may also differ. It need not be exactly the same size, I'm guessing. 2 trillion galaxies. Wow.
together contain more stars than there are grains of sand on the entire Earth. The distance from Earth to any side of the observable universe is 46.5 billion light years, which means that the entire width is 93 billion light years across. What's perhaps even more interesting, however, is what actually lies beyond the observable universe. Keep in mind that the observable universe is all that we can currently see.
So isn't it exciting that this much is observable? This is extremely exciting for me. I think it's observable through the Hubble telescope and the new telescope that has gotten made. Although I don't think it's operational yet, but I think it's mainly visible through the Hubble telescope. I'm wondering. Please let me know in the comment section. I have forgotten a lot of things that I studied in school. And in school, you're learning these things, but you're also supposed to be graded on them. And because of that pressure, you're not even worried and excited about it. They dampen the excitement with the expectation that you have to score and you have to get marks and whatnot. So learning without the added pressure of getting marks is so exciting, isn't it? So anyway, let's get on with it.
And it's entirely possible that the rest of the universe outside of it is vastly larger and more fantastic than we can possibly ever imagine. We simply don't know what else is out there because the light from these incredibly distant places has not yet had enough time in the universe's history to reach us yet back on Earth. And the light from some places may never reach us at all, because some parts of
it may never reach us at all. Alright, there's a spelling mistake. Of observable. All right, that's discounted. And considering the kind of video they've made, this is nothing. Whew.
Space very far away from Earth are expanding away from us faster than the speed of light. That means that the light from these places will never, in an infinite amount of time, reach Earth.
Okay, I missed that.
If humanity is eternal, because some parts of space very far away from Earth are expanding away from us faster than the speed of light, that means that the light from these places will never, in an infinite amount of time, reach Earth. Meaning that even if humanity is eternal and exists forever, there will still be an unknown number of places in the universe that we will never know about or ever see.
Wow, okay. Alright. Even if we lived forever, there'll still be parts of the universe that we'll never get to see. Even if we lived forever. Unless we find a way to travel faster than the speed of light and or multiple times the speed of light, then we can probably get to that place. If we live forever, and if we live forever, we will also have to innovate constantly. So at some point we may. So it's possible that we get to see at the end. You never know. But alright, let's continue.
So, it is very likely that as unbelievably enormous as it seems, the observable universe is just a tiny slice of what we can currently see of the entire universe. According to the theory of cosmic inflation that was proposed by Dr. Alan Guth, if it is assumed that cosmic inflation began at 10 to the negative 37th of a second after the Big Bang, and with the assumption that the size of the universe before inflation began was equal to its age times the speed of light, then this would seem to suggest that at the present day, the entire universe is 150 sextillion times larger than the observable universe. That number for reference looks like this, with this many zeros. Let this number sink in for just a moment. This would be similar to you thinking that the entire observable universe, everything that you could see, was the size of a light bulb, but then realizing that in reality the entire universe is larger than the former planet of Pluto. Imagine a light bulb in the center of Pluto, but we inside the light bulb were totally unaware that Pluto existed outside of it, and
Yeah.
that's a similar situation to this. We are all so unbelievably small, but you shouldn't worry, because all that means is that there is so much left out there for us to discover together.
All right, what do I even say? I mean, this was uh, eye-opening. None of my teachers, none, in my school days or even my college days. I mean, I studied a different subject in college, so there was no chance of someone explaining this. But none of my teachers in my school days came even close to explaining about the universe this way. Imagine your physics teacher doesn't talk about the technicalities and the calculations right away and actually introduces the class with this. Imagine how excited the kids would be, right? Just blows my mind. And also the amount of information that I just got. I'm not able to process it. Yeah, it's anyway. I love the video. Please send me more such videos. If you know more such videos, please inform me. I'm really excited about anything to do with space and space exploration and whatnot. And people get excited about the fact that some companies are now doing some space exploration, trying to establish a colony in Mars and whatnot. Elon Musk is apparently trying to do that, and that's what gets us excited. But we don't know how much we are still not exploring, right? So anyway, love this video. Suggest a few more. I'll see you in the next video.